Expect cocktail sessions, educational and inspirational talks from experienced startup founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm continuing the trend of the Midwestern Chicago peeps, which is pretty cool, only I don't know how to code. So, Neil, maybe after we should chat. It's part of the reason I actually got into PR. Honestly, I was so frightened by math and science growing up. I was like, what can I do in life that involves really little math and science? And language arts was really, really attractive and where I kind of found my calling. But I got into public relations not because I viewed myself as an ideator, because I also wanted to help people. And I started off in the nonprofit sector, specifically in healthcare. And I felt like that was a way I could make a difference, because the sight of blood makes me pass out. But I thought public speaking makes some of the doctors and nurses pass out. So, that's where I could lend my expertise. So started off in public relations for the largest healthcare system in Chicago, then did some PR agency work, was the director of communications at a community college, and all the while had been married to my college sweetheart. And one day I came to him and said, I want to quit my safe, steady job and start a PR consultancy. Don't have any clients yet. Don't know what that means. Not going to have a consistent paycheck. Cool with that? He was like, no. Are you crazy? So I, did a lot of talking with him and ended up having a very responsible exit strategy for my director of communications job, landed the clients that I needed, and moved forward. So he went with me through that huge transition. And any of you that are in a relationship or are in a marriage know how trying times of change can be. Even good stress is still stress on a marriage and on a relationship. And so about 18 months ago, we had our first son, a little boy who we just adore. His name is Cash, and we call him Cash, so very apt that it's a great name for living in Vegas. I know. And after we had him, I came up to him and said, what if as soon as I started saying that, I could just see him, like the lights going off, said, what if we just up and move our family to Las Vegas? I'm going to go work with this startup for 2 years. It relies on funding, so there's never a surefire win. Let's keep our house here. We'll rent out there. Just move our family, our 2 dogs, everyone across country. And this time he looked at me and he just said, let's do this. And I kind of sat there for a minute, shocked, and said, oh, okay, let's do it. But one of the stipulations of it was he had to quit his job. He and I are complete opposites. He was a salesman for Budweiser in a career that he said he could have retired from. He was very comfortable, just something he could do. I said, you have to quit your job and stay home with our son, which was kind of trying. We didn't know how that would work, if that would kind of emasculate him, if he didn't feel like he was providing for his family. And all the while, I keep going with my career and get out of the house, and he doesn't. He stays home with a toddler all day. And the reason I'm telling these stories is because this is kind of the real life, day-to-day of life as a business owner and entrepreneur. Even though I'm working with a startup now, I was a business owner and still am for the past 3 years. And there are many ups and downs and relationship woes that kind of go along with that, because there isn't a constant. And I'm convinced now it is probably one of the most difficult things when you meet 2 people who are both entrepreneurs. I don't know how they survive, because my husband and I, it works because he is not in the same space. Like, he's alpha at home, I'm alpha in the office. Otherwise it wouldn't work if we were both the same. So anyway, we decided to make the trek out here to Vegas. And I'm proud to say my mom and my dad and my youngest sister are in the back. It's their first time in downtown Vegas. So our families have been a huge support system to us. In fact, we see them more now than when we lived about an hour and a half away. So I think that has something to do with Vegas. So lesson learned, move to Vegas and you'll see your family more. But it's been really exciting that everyone has supported us, and especially being part of a startup. I know it can really freak parents out when you tell them you're going to take this big risk, because we're their children and they want to watch out for us and they want the best for us. And I'm learning that every day as a new mom. So to have their support was instrumental in us being able to make the move here, and it's instrumental in us being able to be relatively successful in helping my business grow, because my parents, every time I drop a bomb on them like that, they've just said, oh, great. Like, they didn't faze them. They weren't shocked. They just assumed, like, oh yeah, she's gonna do it. I also know that if we totally fell flat on our faces, we have a great support system behind us. Not that that's going to happen. But I've learned several lessons over the past 10 years, because what happens as taking these risks and being an entrepreneur and being a business owner, when I am at home, I have to keep the faith and a front face. Even if things aren't going well, I struggle and get nervous with the fact that I may have to tell my husband that things aren't great, because I need his support and he needs to believe that I've got everything under control. So I wrote this book a few months ago called Reframe, and I had a few copies on the back table, so thanks for anyone who took one for me. And I didn't write it just as a book to be an author. I wrote it to make myself accountable to things that I constantly either struggled with or told myself on a regular basis. Because what is really dangerous as an entrepreneur and as a business owner is when you start to doubt yourself and doubt your expertise. And that's one of my biggest demons, where some days I'll sit and I'll say, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Why are people asking me questions? You know, I'm listening to this two speakers before me. I'm like, I don't know how to code. I shouldn't be talking to these people. But then I remembered that I have some expertise. I wouldn't be hired to do what I do if I didn't. And I enjoy running parallel to technology. I'm not a coder, but this is how I can kind of get my arm in this space and be part of it. Just because you're great at creating something doesn't mean you know how to strategically promote it and create an integrated marketing plan and launch content marketing strategies. Drop some big words so you think I'm smart. Thanks. So anyway, with having Reframe, it's a tool that I created for myself, but also so I can hold myself accountable, and I read pages of it every day, and I created little stickers that I put all over. So I have to build these habits into my daily life just to kind of keep strong during good times and bad times. But I also created a life mission statement, and I think that was one of the kind of pivotal moments of my life. And it was my very first mentor who asked if I had a life mission statement. I was like, no, I don't need that. What is that? And I remember reading hers, and I thought, well, that's really interesting. And she's the one who taught me, like, you create this mission statement and you post it in places that you see that you're around most in the day, whether that's above your bathroom mirror, now my Facebook profile, places that I actually see quite frequently. And that life mission statement has been a compass for every decision that I make. And it focuses on things, on what I view as my weaknesses. And it starts with, I run unabashedly free through this one life without fear. I believe in the unexpected. I believe in abundance. Because fear is also something that can motivate me. So as soon as I feel afraid about something, I know that I have to do it. Whether it's coming to publicly speak in front of a room of people, whether it's moving cross country, whether it's taking a risk, because as soon as I hear that fear, it's, I know that most people won't do it because it is scary. So something that sets us apart and differentiates us is that most of the people in this room do the same thing, and they take that fearful jump and that fearful step, and great things tend to happen. And if not, we have a great support system if they don't go well, because it could be like, hi, my name is Sarah. I'm an entrepreneur. And you get it. You know. So the life mission statement has been huge, and I just feel like that should be a tool in every entrepreneur's arsenal. And if you're interested in writing one, I love sitting down with people and helping them do that. So let me know. And I'll be quite honest. I mean, I'm up here talking about balancing work, life, entrepreneur, all of that. I don't have it all figured out. And there still are tough days where my husband comes to me and says, you've been in your computer more than you've seen me. And like, communication isn't working, and you need to work on it. And we kind of have these little check-ins with one another, because I'll ask him, how are you feeling staying at home with our son? Well, I'm at the office and all over and running to these events. Like, he's at home with our son now. And sometimes he says it's not working, or it is working. Can you take your son? One night I had to bring him over to Latai for a meeting. He was over at the beat with me after, because, husband needed a break. But because we check in and keep that open communication, it does... it works for us. It doesn't work for everyone. But two of the things that I built in that have to be a constant is I make breakfast for our family every morning, and I make dinner. Not a great dinner. I'm a really good breakfast maker. So if you're ever out in the Summerlin area, I'm serious. I will make you pancakes and eggs and all that good stuff. But that time around the breakfast table, the kitchen table, is essential for my family. That's where we get great conversation. We bond around that food. I never realized how important that was. And that's something I learned growing up with my family. Like, you sit around the table. My mom's a great cook, sweet Italian lady she is. And it's become valuable for us. So these things may sound very simple, and you might think, well, I eat with my family, but I didn't realize how valuable they were until I was trying to balance it all and keep a happy marriage and consider myself a good mom, because I constantly have mom guilt, and be a good provider in the office and be an exceptional employee. And I don't believe that there really is a work-life balance, but that's why I build in kind of those key checks and those habits, switching and making new habits. And as things don't work, or as they do, we kind of learn and pivot as needed. So I assume I'm not the only one in the room going through those things. So if you have any advice for me after balancing and making things work, I would love to hear it. It's a privilege to be here and be part of the Vegas tech community. We really love it. One thing that is for sure that my husband and I say is that we can see ourselves here for the long haul. We're really, really happy. We love the sense of community and support. And we've never been happier, which has to be a good sign. So thank you for your time tonight, and I'll chat with you soon.